Hey there YouTube, welcome to Big Mike Beard Wisdom. So today we're going to be on the Sonata, and then this is a hybrid car, so it's one of those things where the tires on it make a big difference. So when I first got the car, it had, I want to say, a set of like Hancooks on it, and I swapped those out for a set of Michelin Defenders. And it was one of those things where the old original tires kind of didn't handle very well. They were pretty tough in the snow, and that they didn't handle the snow at all. It was kind of those things where you didn't realize that you were sliding until you were sideways, which in part is due to like the numb suspension feedback of the Sonata, but changing tires was a huge difference. And then the Sonata's a hybrid, which makes a lot of interesting things because sometimes the engine's going to run, sometimes the engine isn't running. So that little indicator right there that shows forward and back means that the car is pretty much in a state that it runs and moves and can be moved. So essentially, you put it in reverse, maybe the engine starts, maybe it doesn't. Now we're backing up, still running on EV. Let's go back forward, no engine yet, sneaking around like a golf cart. So, because there's no engine noise, it really makes a big difference in noise, vibration, and harshness. So, without an engine to kind of make kind of like an ambient noise that we're all used to, all you're going to hear is the wind noise and the road noise as you're going down the road, maybe a little bit of a motor whine. But it's just one of those things where it's really surprising how big of a difference tires can make. The original tires that were on this, they ran out before about 38,000 miles, so they were wiped pretty much clean out. I was really kind of surprised that those Hancooks were out that fast. So I went to the Michelin Defenders because they're a harder compound, but they're also a bit louder. And looking at the tires, you can see it's got sipes and small little lightens in it, so the big circumferential grooves move water for you, that way it resists hydroplaning and stuff. Then the small little knife cut things here, that is what helps you grip on ice. So it does look like we're getting a little bit of separation and cracking in there, so that's just kind of normal as tires wear and stuff dries out. Ambient noise. All right, getting on it. Miles an hour. In EV mode. Engine off, 70 miles an hour. So you can see they're still pretty quiet because the car in general is really quiet, but they're louder than they were with the original tires, which I don't remember, you know, what the original tires were exactly. And I kind of wish I would have had the sound meter and stuff back then, that way I could have shown a difference. We've put probably at least 30,000 miles on these tires then. We're close to 30,000. Then on the outside, we're at about 630 seconds. On the inside, about the same, so 630 seconds. Let's check the rears. There's a bandit. Hi, Shadow. Hi, Shadow. That one's at probably closer to 530 seconds. So you can see the line for 6. There's a line for 5, but you don't see 4 yet. So we'll say 5 30 seconds in that rear one. This other rear one's about the same. So there's 6 30 seconds. It's 5. Can't see 4 yet. And now for this front one. So that's showing about 6. So tires are still in pretty decent shape, but it is one of those things where once you hit 4 30 seconds, there's a significant reduction in like hydroplane ability or hydroplane avoidance. So, and really, if you subscribe to like the penny method is very little tire showing. So penny method, probably about that much. Should be about 2 30 seconds. Whoop. So that's about 2 30 seconds. So if someone says, hey, you know, you can't, if you can see the top of Abe Lincoln's head, it means you've only got that much tread depth left. So I'm pretty happy with these Michelin Defender T&Hs. And then they're in the 205, 65, R16, 95H. And they have Michelin's Total Performance, which if you're curious what that is, we'll go to the computer real quick.
So when I Google Michelin Total Performance, one of the first things that came up was a thing from TireRack. And I really like TireRack.com. It's one of my favorite sites to do like tire research on and learn about new tires. And they do an awesome job in presenting different things, and they also have a ton of information. They do their own reviews on tires. They do a lot of testing on tires. They've got a lot of really cool videos to watch, and they've got a ton of customer reviews that are really interesting to kind of read through. And on here, it has basically what is Michelin Total Performance, and it's their global strategy for developing tires that deliver superior levels of performance in key areas of safety, fuel efficiency, grip, longevity, and durability. So it's pretty interesting in that they're trying to maximize both tread life and the reduction of fuel consumption, as well as having both good dry and wet grip, which can be opposing concepts. Michelin's website's also really good to check out. It's pretty interesting. They've got plenty of info and lots of reviews on it. And you can kind of see, so the Defender T&H, they're saying ultimate tread life, all-season safety, quiet and comfortable ride, and a mileage warranty of 80,000 miles, with a standard limited warranty of 6 years. And that's a great amount of miles. That should be a ton. I mean, think about it. 80,000 miles. Most people probably don't keep a car for 80,000 miles. It has a lot of technology in it, so it's got the intelligent sight technology they have built into the tires. They're supposed to be comfortable. And then also, it says that like at Michelin, we continuously push safety, durability, and fuel efficiency. So these should be a relatively fuel efficient tire as well, which in my case, having a hybrid, that's kind of a big thing for me. Now, these tires in the past, I know they're not perfectly quiet, and they can react differently on different vehicles. So what's interesting is some of the reviews that you have down here on their site, because like this picture here, this tire is wore pretty bald. So someone really got their money's worth out of that one, or they might have had some sort of crazy alignment problem and just wiped them out. But the first one on deck, they basically say they weren't impressed, bought these just a couple weeks ago, and had to add air to all 4 tires already. There's been no changes in weather to cause this. I sure hope this will not be an ongoing issue. Too expensive to have had such poor quality. So this is kind of an interesting review, because it's kind of like when someone orders something off of Amazon and they give it a bad rating because of the delivery method. So, you know, even though the product might be perfect and really good, they're downgraded for this other thing. Tires are really interesting because your tires seal to the wheels, and if the person that changed your tires didn't change like your valve stem, then maybe the valve stem's leaking a little bit. If they didn't tighten the Schrader valve all the way in the valve stem, that's another one. Same thing with up here in Minnesota, we're really bad for having oxidation on the wheels. So aluminum wheels wind up getting oxidation. So we kind of call them tire sealant babies. So it's essentially, it's a kind of like a rubber cement that goes on the rim, and then it helps to fill the voids in the rim and allow the tires to seal better. So this might be something where there was an install problem as opposed to actually the tires being an issue. This one's interesting. So this one, they gave them 4 stars. They were in desperate need of front tires, decided on Michelin tires after reading the reviews, and then it says very nice and gives a smooth ride. Doesn't really say, you know, what tires it was, so it's kind of interesting as far as that goes. And then this one, best ever, quietest tires I've ever bought, smooth ride, good in the rain. quietest tires I've ever bought. I'm going to disagree there. So that's pretty much it for the Michelin site on this. So still pretty interesting. A good read if you want to learn about the tires. And then, of course, these are both passenger car and SUV crossovers. And the neat thing is that they're actually coming out with another Defender tire, like an updated version of it. Now, here's TireRack.com. So this is the site I was talking about earlier. And it's really cool. They sell a lot of different products for your vehicles and stuff. And it's kind of one of those things where I like going here, looking at wheels and tires and kind of pricing stuff out, because if you want to change what kind of wheels you have, you might as well change what type of tires you have. And they sell both tires and wheels, as well as maybe like shocks and brakes and other parts for your car and stuff like that. And then, but they mostly specialize in wheels and tires. And you can kind of see it on the vehicle, which is pretty cool. So if you were to click Shop Tires, that'll take you to this screen here. And you can see I've already got the 16 Hyundai Sonata SE selected, but you can select your makes here, and then select year, and then the model, and then a zip code, and then you can select, whatever product you're shopping for, so be it tires, wheel and tire packages, winter and snow tires, wheels, brakes, suspension, lighting, TPMS, wipers, etc. So plenty of stuff. So you basically select the vehicle that you want to look at, and then that takes you to the tire results. And then here I've got it set up for all the results for the Sonata. And then you can sort by different methods. So you can go price highest and lowest, UTQG highest to lowest, and UTQG is like your treadwear, your traction, and temperature ratings. So putting this on UTQG highest to lowest, it should give us the highest kind of like treadwear stuff. And I think the original tires were a Hankook Kinergy of some type. I don't know if it was a PT or maybe an ST or something like that. So they have a low rolling resistance. But you can click on the tires and pretty much see that it says, Kinergy PT, so the type of tire, the size, Eco, it's got the control technology, style, black wall, so that means it doesn't have any white coloring for the letters and stuff like that. Then load and speed rating, so it's a load rating 95, speed rating H, UTQG 860, and then temperature and traction A and A. And then these do have a let me see, yep, low rolling resistance tire. So this would be a good one for a hybrid if you're looking for low rolling resistance. But in my instance, move the Defender T&H, and then you can see, so rating wise, a little bit lower on the treadwear. So instead of 860, but about 820, and then temperature and traction, AB as opposed to AA. But I do know that these are a really good, long-lasting tire normally on everything that I've ever experienced them on. So again, this gives you the pretty good picture. You just kind of float over the tire. You can kind of see more in depth on it. Looks pretty much like the ones on my car. And then they've got some of the explanation for things here. So they got description. And then you can see it breaks everything down inside of here. And then the different sizes that it comes in. The specs. So here you've got the UTQG. Max load, 1,521 pounds. Max inflation, 44 pounds. Tread depth, 10-30 seconds. So that means that the starting tread depth is at 10-30 seconds. So with us wearing it down now, I would say in about 30,000 miles, we've gone down, about 4:30 seconds. So it's kind of one of those things where you want to replace your tires probably at 2:30 seconds, because that's normally when you're going to hit your wear bars. And also, it's not a lot of grooves left to really shed water. So you're going to really get into hydroplaning kind of issues with like a 2:30-second tire. But TireRack.com has kind of a cool video where they did a study showing how much from a normal brand new set of tires, when you get to just 4:30 seconds, how much hydroplanability you gain. So as in the chance of you actually hydroplaning when you're at 4:30 seconds compared to a new one. So 4:30 seconds is very similar to 2:30 seconds. So it's really kind of interesting, the stuff they've figured out. And then this also shows warranties. So Treadwear, 6 years, 80,000 miles. I don't know if we're gonna hit the full 80,000 miles, but the Sonata's kind of heavy. Even though it's a car, it's a hybrid, so there's a lot of weight to it. So I don't know if maybe that's why some of it's wearing kind of quick, but it's kind of one of those things. It might be just the design of the vehicle, and the hand cooks kind of wore out before I thought the hand cooks should have. So if these wear out before these should have, it'll just be par for course. And then you can see you've got TireRack's test results for different tires and stuff. So they kind of put together the Michelin Pilot Sport 4S, the Michelin Pilot Sport All Season 4, the Michelin Cross Climate 2, which is the tire that's on the Astra that was awesome in the snow, and then the Michelin Defender T&H, which isn't quite as good in the snow, but it's way better than the hand cooks that it used to have. And that goes for a lot of stuff. The old hand cooks kind of felt like smushy, and they were a little weird going down the road, like it was a little bit numb. And then the Defenders really kind of tightened that up. But the trade-off was a little bit extra noise. So they've got the breakdown of the test they did, what vehicle they did it on, how things went. And then you've got like the consumer ratings and stuff like that, so what everybody else thought that bought them. And then this is pretty cool because you're able to kind of track down vehicles that are kind of like yours. So obviously a 2004 Nissan Frontier base King Cab two-wheel drive, not going to be like a Sonata. 2008 Toyota Corolla LE, four-cylinder sedan, could be kind of similar. So this person didn't give it the full stars and stuff like that. And they thought that the tires they had earlier were better. And that the Michelin seemed to have a harsher ride. Then we'll click read all reviews just in case there's any additional ones. Honda Fit, Subaru Forester. So if you got like all-wheel drive and you're thinking about it, they've got reviews in here from people about that. So these Accords would probably be very similar too. So it looks like, yeah, this one they really kind of liked and they would buy them again. So, and they're interesting reads. I've had a lot of experience with Michelin Defenders T&Hs before, so it's one of those things I knew what I was getting into, and as a tech, I knew the characteristics of the tire that I was going to get. So I was a little surprised by the additional noise, and on the Sonata being a hybrid, it makes sense because, it's a very quiet car to begin with. You're going to notice any change in noise. But I was also fully expecting all the great performance parts of a Defender, and I was really happy with that. For me, though, I was really looking for the Michelin Premier AS tires. I had these on a couple different vehicles and really liked them. They're kind of one of those things. They're a really good, nice, quiet tire. They've got some pretty cool technology to them. So like as the tread wears down, it actually widens out some of these. So you are supposed to have just as much safety when it's wore down as you have when they're brand new. So like these over here, as it wears, they open up a little bit. And I think same thing with some of the ones over here. And there's even ones I think that just magically appear inside. But they've got a lot of like little side and small cuts, so like little tight sipes for grabbing on ice and stuff. And they handled snow pretty well as well. So they're kind of pricey for what they were. So they didn't have a whole lot of tread depth on them from the word go. So they were only about a 60,000 mile tire, whereas the Defender's like an 80,000 mile tire. And it's one of those things where it was really neat when they first came out, but a lot of other companies are kind of copying it. But I do really like these, and I kind of wish they made them the size, except like for right now, they only make them in 11 sizes, and the Sonata's not one of them. Ultimately, I'm still very happy with going with the Defender T&Hs. The change in handling of the Sonata was night and day. Them being a little noisy isn't all that bad. And especially when you compare it to some of the other vehicles that I've had, the little bit of extra noise was kind of one of those things where maybe I just had to turn the radio up just a little bit more. So one of those things where it's not a deal breaker. It was pretty decent. The tires have worn really well. So I'm pretty happy with them, and I'm glad I bought them.
So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll check you next time.